Today we're going to be taking a look at 75432 V-19 Torrent Starfighter. This set just released on August 1st with 567 pieces and a retail price of only $65, which is actually a really fair price point, especially compared to the other sets that released this wave. Now, I'm actually really excited to take a look at this thing because the original V-19 Torrent is one of my favorite sets of all time, and I think taking a look at a modern version of this ship is going to be really fun. However, by no means is this a perfect set. From a few issues with the build to the minifigures, we're going to take a look at all of it. On the back of the box, you're going to find another render of this set, and as you can see, it doesn't really look the greatest in its landing position, and then per usual, you're going to have some pictures up at the top right corner that show off the set's play features. Now, opening up the box and digging in, on the inside, you're just going to find 5 separate numbered bags, along with your instructions and a small sticker sheet with only 6 stickers on it. Moving on to the minifigures here, first off, we'll start with this new clone pilot, and I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of all over the place on this figure. I have mixed feelings about it. I think this new helmet mold does look really good. I mean, obviously, they finally got it accurate. It has accurate shaping. There's not a fin on the back. However, one thing that kind of threw me off about it is that it is really large, like bigger than I was expecting it to be. It does make it look a tad bit goofy, I'm not gonna lie, and this is pretty evident when you compare it to just the normal modern Phase 1 clone trooper. As you can see here, that helmet is a bit smaller and a bit slimmer. It's not the end of the world, and after all, I'm pretty sure it's accurate. I think the pilot's helmets are bigger anyway. I just thought it was something worth pointing out. But the main thing people are talking about with this helmet is obviously the printing on the front, and it definitely doesn't look bad. I wouldn't say it's as big of an issue as like the helmet holes or the printed waist capes. However, it doesn't look as good as it could, and this is obviously very evident when you look at how it's shown on the box. As you can see, the printing is noticeably different, with the black lines on the visor going all the way to the sides of the helmet, and then in the real version they don't do that. And again, this doesn't look bad. It doesn't ruin the aesthetic of the figure. However, it's just not as good as it could look, and the best it could look is what's shown on the box and in the product images. And also on top of that, it is just really frustrating that we don't get what's shown on the box and in the product images. And I mean, I've seen people complaining about the actual helmet print looking bad, and I don't even think that's that big of an issue. I think the big issue is just the fact that it doesn't look the same as it does on the box, or vice versa. That's just really dumb on Lego's part. Make the box print look the same as the real figure, or make the real figure look the same as the box print, whatever. But still, again, at the end of the day, the figure doesn't look terrible. It just doesn't look as good as it could, and the best it could look is what's shown on the box. And then obviously underneath the helmet, you're going to have the modern clone trooper head print. But moving on to a figure that actually doesn't have any issues, that being this new Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it looks incredible. There's literally nothing wrong with this figure. It's got great printing on the front and the back, and then it's obviously got great arm printing on both sides. I mean, this is easily the best Obi-Wan Kenobi figure Lego has ever made. It's not even close. And then as you can see here, he's also going to have a double-sided face. And then next up here, we have another perfect looking figure, that being Asajj Ventress, the first one we've gotten since 2015. And just like Kenobi, this figure is flawless. I love the bright, vibrant purple, and I think it also goes really good with the white. She's also got a cool face print, and then as you can see on the back of her head, she's got a pretty gnarly head print on the back here too. And then of course, she's also going to come with the curved lightsaber hilts. The first time Lego has made these in quite a few years as well. Overall, this minifigure lineup is really good. I mean, it's just a perfect little lineup of characters from the Clone Wars movie, and I think it works great for the V-19 Torrent, with Asajj Ventress and Kenobi really being some of, if not the best figures that have come out in 2025 so far. It's just that pilot, man. The helmet print, again, doesn't look bad, but it should look how it looks on the box, because the box is the better version, in my opinion. Taking a look at the actual model here, the first thing I have to say is I really do not like how this thing looks in its landed position. However, I'll talk about that more here in a minute. First off, I want to talk about the price point of this thing, because it's actually a good deal. There is another $65 set that is currently on shelves right now, and that is the TIE Bomber from 2023. And as you can see here, the TIE Bomber is ever so slightly larger, which is mainly due to its wings, but overall, they are relatively the same size. They both look like they would cost the same price. And then when talking about this set's price per gram, usually sets of this price point and this size have a price per gram of about 17 cents on average, so I really consider that to be the standard. And according to the added up weight of the piece inventory of this set on Bricklink, it has a total weight of 424 grams with a $65 price point, coming out to a price per gram of just 15.3 cents, which is a really solid deal, and it actually makes it the set with the lowest price per gram out of the entire Lego Star Wars 2025 August wave, with the Playscale Jango Fett Slave 1 following right behind it. So yeah, $65 is a really good deal for this set, especially compared to the Turbo Tank and the MTT. But now I actually want to dive into the model and talk about everything that it offers. I do have to say, one thing I really appreciate about it is that it is super clean looking. As you can see around this cockpit area, it is just perfectly tiled off, very clean, very sleek. And then the cockpit itself is going to be a yellow yellow transparent piece, which is definitely different looking from the clear transparent piece on the old V-19 Torrent. However, if you look in universe, a yellow cockpit is actually accurate. And then opening up the cockpit, on the inside, there's really not much, just a seat and a small sticker control panel, which actually does look pretty cool. And then obviously, as you'd expect, you can grab the clone pilot and sit him down in the seat. Now, despite this area around the cockpit looking really sleek, I do have to say, I do not like these stickers on the front. I mean, when you put them on correctly, it doesn't look bad. It's just the fact that you have to line them up perfectly. And if you don't, it really could potentially ruin the look of the front of the set here. If these stickers were on the wings or something or on the back, I don't think it'd matter that much. But since they're on the very front where you can easily risk ruining the entire look of the model, I think these should have been printed. Now again, this set is sleek and tiled off, which I appreciate. However, like I briefly mentioned earlier, I do not like how this set looks in its landed position. And there's two main reasons for that. The first is that there's literally no landing gear, so it sits completely flat on the ground. And I just do not like how this looks. I think it gives it such an incomplete feel. And you can really see how the lack of landing gear hinders the look of the set when you compare it to the older one, which is obviously much larger, but I'm talking about the landing gear here. As you can see, the slight elevation for the landing gear just does a lot for the older one, and the lack of it on this new one just doesn't look very appealing in my opinion. And then the second thing I really don't like about it is how far the back wing sticks out when it's folded up. I just really don't like the shaping of it like this, and this is again something that the older one is better at. The back wing doesn't stick out so far, and it definitely looks more appealing when it's folded up compared to this newer one where it's completely flat on the ground and the back wing sticks out. And honestly, I think that back wing sticking out so far is probably the reason there isn't any landing gear, because it would tip backwards. However, the narrative completely changes when you actually fold the wings down into its flying position. As you can see, you just grab the wings and fold them down. There's no insane mechanism like there is on the old one, and it looks really good like this. I mean, it is pretty much spot on accurate, which I love. And you actually can kind of display it in its flying position like this without the need for a stand. You can just lean it down on its side wing like this, and it actually looks pretty cool. It gives it kind of a dynamic flying look. However, I prefer to just throw some pieces on the bottom to get it to stand upright. And again, it looks super good. It's pretty much spot on accurate with how this ship looks in the Clone Wars. The wings are very sleek and clean looking, and as you can see, there's two stickers on this one with the stripes and the Republic logo. However, the right one only has one sticker because the Republic logo isn't there. And I'm not gonna lie, when I noticed this, I thought I just forgot to put the sticker on, but no, on the front of the box, one of the wings is just missing the Republic logo, so I guess it's how it's supposed to be. And then from there, you're gonna have the cannons at the bottom that look really good, and then you're gonna have some stud shooters on those that you can obviously fire as you want to. The third wing, when it's not folded back up in its landing position, also looks really good, and as you can see, there's a little engine intake right there in the middle, and then on the back, you're gonna have the actual thruster part of the engine, and then you're gonna see a little rod here, which is actually what holds it in place when it's in its landing position, because there's a little clip up here at the top. And while this definitely isn't as cool as the automatic function on the old one, it still works really well. And then from there, you're gonna have the two main engines, which are very simple, but they get the job done and they look decent. Overall, this is definitely one of the better August 2025 sets. It has its highs and its lows. However, I think the good outweighs the bad. When it's in its flying position, it's extremely clean and extremely accurate. I love how it looks. And then of course you have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Asajj Ventress, two of the best figures that have come out this year. Really, the only things I have against this set are again how it looks in its landed position, and then obviously the pilot, and then a few other small things here and there like the stickers on the front. Other than that, it looks great, has a great price point, and has really cool figures. So because of that, I'm feeling a solid 7.5 out of 10 for this one. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more videos, you see on the screen right now.